Hey guys, it's Tara, Monster High Love Me, and this morning Nickelodeon just uploaded a tweet revealing the voice actor cast for the new animated series. We're going to take a look at all of them, plus introduce some new information you may not know about the animated series, so let's just get into it. Alright, so according to the Dolly Olds, this animated series will be premiering on Nickelodeon in October, which is the same time the live action movie comes out, October 6th. So I'm assuming within the next couple of weeks or even days, we'll get an actual day in October that this is going to premiere. So each episode will have a runtime of 20 minutes, which is pretty standard for cartoons. And in season 1, we are going to be getting 26 episodes. I was expecting maybe like 10 episodes or 13, but no, 26. Pretty crazy. So let's just start off with Draculaura. Courtney is playing her. This morning she did a tweet of when she found out in May of 2021. So yeah, this has been in the works for a long time now. It was pretty wholesome watching her cry finding out the news. I know it can be tough for actors and actresses these days, so I'm glad she found a job and it's with Monster High. We see Draculaura in that witch hat, conjuring up magic in her hands, and I actually have a description for her, so let me read that off now. The daughter of Dracula. Vampire Draculaura seems like the perfect dictionary definition of a monster, but she hides a deep desire to become a witch, which is strictly forbidden in the monster world. So this is following pretty close to the live action movie storyline. So a close look at her face. You know, I'm actually really loving the eyeliner. It's just very weird to see Draculaura look like this. I'm looking at my doll shelf and seeing Draculaura and I'm like, these two are not the same at all. Not that they were ever going to be the same. It's just like, I don't know, this is gonna have to take a lot of getting used to for me. Alright, now let's get into Clawdeen Wolf. The description for her reads, Clawdeen Wolf, half human, half werewolf. Clawdeen is thrilled to join Monster High despite the challenge of being a half monster in a school of full monster students. So it sounds like they're going to reintroduce her all over again. I don't know if they're going to reintroduce her the same way they did in the live action, but they probably won't change much considering, you know, this show is for kids, so they don't want to confuse them. Looking at Clawdeen, you know, I've always said I wasn't a fan of the glasses. It's just really hard for me to have like an unbiased opinion. I will say if in 2010 Monster High released like this, I probably would have never been a fan. I know you guys are going to be annoyed with me saying this again, but I just don't know why they strayed away from this animation. That's what made them billions of dollars and that's what worked. Don't know why they keep trying to change it. Alright, so let's just get on to Frankie Stein. The description for them reads, brought to life just 15 days ago by their scientist parents, Frankie is figuring out who they are and who they want to be. So are they going to introduce Frankie's parents in the film? That will be interesting. There was some talk that in the animated series, Frankie would not be non-binary anymore like they were in the live action. Now, Monster High did not use she/her pronouns in the character description, so maybe they still are non-binary. I wonder how that's going to work for the dolls because normally all of the ghouls say daughter of Dracula, daughter of Frankenstein, so I'm wondering if they'll just do like child of Frankenstein or descendant, who knows. I like how she's holding her arm in the promo photo, and I am not mad about this outfit at all. I think 2010 Frankie would totally wear this. Quick close up to her face, you know, she has that shaved head going and the eyebrow piercing. Alright, let's get on to Miss Cleo De Nile. Her description reads, Cleo is a mummy monster who knows she is destined for greatness if only everyone else would just admit it and get out of her way. I hope in the animated series like Cleo is not being portrayed as like a big villain, because I really loved how in OG Monster High like Cleo was mean at first, but then she came around and became friends with the rest of the monsters. And I'm actually shocked by Cleo's look. She's actually darker than Clawdeen in this series. They put more representation in the animated series than they did with the live action. I was gonna say maybe Monster High saw the backlash about the cast of the live action movie, so they decided to add more people of color to the animated series cast, but we know that they started casting them in May of 2021, so that doesn't even make sense. Nothing to complain about on my end. I am totally down for Cleo being darker. She actually looks like Cleo De Nile in the 𝗶𝘀𝘀𝗀 movie. Now let's move on to Deuce Gorgon. His description reads, the son of Medusa and Lyra, Deuce is often influenced by the snakes that live on his head and get him into trouble. So that's interesting. I guess we'll see more of Deuce's parents. We never saw that in the original Monster High. And the snakes influence him. That is interesting. Okay. I actually kind of like that they're adding that to the storyline. The snakes on his head look pretty cool, and he has those painted black fingernails. I love that. I'm actually not mad about Deuce's look at all. Now, Heath Burns, and I do have a lot of opinions about him. But first, let's read his character profile. Temperamental and passionate as the son of Hades would be, Heath is quite literally a hothead who can get worked over anything and is prone to fiery outbursts. So I'm not very familiar with Hades, but isn't he like a god? That's interesting. Okay. But let me talk about Heath's look. I absolutely hate it. I think it is the worst of all of the characters we've seen so far. I'm sorry, I don't mean to come off as mean, but like, this looks horrible. I can't express that enough. I think live action Heath looks 1000% better than animated series Heath. There, I said it. Anyways, let's just forget about that. Let's get on to Toralei. She's in this animated series. Her character description reads, hailing from an elite monster family, Toralei is a werecat and the bad girl at Monster High. Old-fashioned and brave, Toralei is committed to her cause of preserving monster society. So yeah, it sounds like she's actually going to be the betrayed villain and descended from an elite monster family. That's new. And I guess the wanting, to upkeep monster society is maybe a clue to her not liking Clawdeen for being half human. So I'm calling it now. She's probably gonna make a lot of mean comments about Clawdeen not being monster enough. I'm glad they brought back Toralei and they didn't introduce a new villain, because I don't know, I love Toralei, and I think she actually looks good. Toralei looks very similar to her original character. I love the piercings in the ears, the stripes on her face, and the jacket. Alright, moving on to Lagoona Blue. Her character profile reads, having grown up in an ancient underwater Mayan Castillo, am I saying that right? Mayan Castillo, with her ocean nymph mother and her sea monster father, sweet yet ferocious, Lagoona doesn't know much about life on land. So I love how they mentioned her being half nymph, half sea monster, because a lot of people don't know that Lagoona is actually a hybrid. Lagoona only ever talked about it in her diaries and not in any of the movies, so I'm glad that they are bringing this to light in the animated series. Now with her look, I guess in that sense I'm just gonna have to treat her like a completely different monster, because this looks nothing like the original Lagoona or even acts like the original Lagoona, so it's just like a completely different character. And I'm guessing they're gonna change her last name, because Lagoona Blue is not blue, she is pink. I want to go into like the Monster High office and hear their discussions as to why they decided to change everything about Lagoona. Like, what were they thinking? I really don't know. If they wanted a nymph sea monster to kind of look like a rainbow mermaid, they should have just added another character and not changed Lagoona completely. Up close to her face, I mean, she's pretty, there's no denying that. I like her hair, it's just not Lagoona. Alright, now we go to the head of the school, headmistress Bloodgood. This is what her character profile says. The headless overseer of the school, headmistress Bloodgood, is known for wandering around at night to keep an eye on the students. In regards to Bloodgood, I really have nothing wrong or bad to say about this. Her outfit especially looks very true to Bloodgood's original character. Since they made Bloodgood of color, I'm really glad they decided to cast the voice actress a person of color as well. So although I'm not the biggest fan of the animation, I am really loving the diversity in the cast. Also, seeing this confirms that a lot of the doll leaks we have seen are confirmed to be true, even if they are just prototypes. Like Cleo, they almost have the exact same outfits, though I hope for the finished product of Cleo's doll, they make her the same color as she is in the animated series. Then we have Clawdeen, the same exact bun on the top of their head and the same exact shirt. With Draculaura, same hat, same hair. Though Frankie's doll is a lot different, but I hope they are just gray just for being a prototype and that's not actually how they are gonna look. So I posted this to my Instagram this morning and it already has over like 700 comments and I can barely find like a good handful of nice comments. Everything else is just totally dragging on it, and that was kind of expected because a lot of us just don't like this reboot. Monster High has made it very clear, we aren't the target audience anymore. They are catering to a new generation who have no idea what the original Monster High is, so they'll probably like it, I'm guessing. I don't know. I really don't know what kids are thinking nowadays. But anyways, that's it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I told y'all the closer we get to fall, there's gonna be tons and tons of new posts from Monster High, new announcements, so definitely stay tuned for that. I would recommend following my Instagram for more in real-time updates since videos take me a little bit longer to film. And without further ado, I will see you guys in my next video.